Hello, storytellers. Welcome back to Storytelling Tarot. This is Jeida K Story back with another pick a card. And today we're doing a really fun one. This is the mystery reading, meaning that for the three piles on the table, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, there is going to be a unique reading. So each card has a question on it, and that is going to be the topic of your reading. So, whichever pile or chapter is calling to you, know that it's going to be completely different from the other piles around it. So, I thought it would be really cool to do something a little unique. So, you're going to see what it is that the universe, that the ancestors want for you to be focused on or be thinking about in this very moment. So, I'm really excited to see what the spirits have to say to us today, to see what the cards have to say to us today. So I hope that you enjoy this different type of offering. If you are interested in booking a one-on-one reading with me, all of that information will be available in the description box below. And as always, if you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you are an old-time Storytelling Tarot follower, thank you so much for being here and coming back to spend time with me. I truly am grateful for you, truly grateful to be on this journey with you and that you trust me to bring these messages forward. All right, without further ado, if you have already selected your pile, I will see you. Let's get started with chapter 1. Hey, chapter 1, we're going to get into your mystery reading for the day. Let's see what it is that the spirits, the ancestors, the guides have for you today to look into. Your question is it time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in my life? This is a card about taking over, taking some power back. Look, it's kind of giving the energy of the star. Which is, if you're familiar with the tarot, then you know that the star follows the tower. And the tower is about like things coming down, things being dismantled, sudden changes in our lives that are for our best and highest good, even if they kind of sting at the time of the collapse, right? So the star speaks about moving into a new era. And so this card is about the takeover. It's saying like, is it time to reclaim? Is it time to reinvent? So rather than asking, is it time? I think I'm going to reframe this a little bit and ask, how? How can you reclaim and reinvent the structures of your life? So let's see. I'm going to get the cards out. Let's see what the cards have to say. So for my chapter 1s, how can they reclaim and reinvent the structures in their life? Sometimes this deck is a little hard to shuffle. It's a little larger than most. Okay. Okay, let's break it down. Let's break the question down, right? So let's start with how can you reclaim? And then we'll look at how to reinvent. How to reclaim the structures in your life. This will be how to reclaim, and then let's pull some cards for how to reinvent. Because I feel like those are different energies, right? This one. Reclaiming is about taking back what's yours. It's definitely giving that takeover, right? Like I'm taking it back. I'm getting back what's mine. Reinventing is like reimagining. It's like something already exists, but I need to go back to the drawing board to kind of refine it, to revise it, you know? So the bottom of the deck, interestingly enough, is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands tells us that you are definitely, chapter 1, close to the end of a cycle. And so it makes sense then that you would be at a place where you are needing to consider reclaiming and reinventing some structures. Because a lot of times when you're at the end of a cycle, of a project, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you are finishing strong. And so sometimes you do have to kind of look back at things and make sure that things are where they need to be. Or also, you may be beginning to, as you're coming to the end of something, you're already having the next thing in sight, the next thing that you're ready to take on. And so, yeah, I love that. We want to tie things up in a nice bow so that you can move on to what's next. So let's see, how can you reclaim the structures in your life around this? Okay. All right. You have the God of Swords and the Son of Wands. The God of Swords would be the King of Swords, the Son of Wands being the Knight of Wands. So, two things. So, we're talking about air energy and fire energy. So, we're talking about like the energy of clear communication and forward action. I tend to think of Elder Maxine Waters, who says, who said popularly that became like a meme, reclaiming my time, meaning you are trying to impose on what's mine and I'm taking it back. And so the energy that you need to, or the tarot is suggesting to adopt this reclamation for you, chapter 1, is to embody or to understand the mastery of communication. It is the God of Swords is someone who says things clearly. They are so intelligent, right? They're focused on the details. And can be even meticulous in the way that they communicate, in the way that they formulate ideas and thoughts, even arguments, right? But it can't just stop at the figuring out, like making the plan. Like when I think of the God of Swords, I think of someone who's like an architect, and architects are, the type of professionals where they understand like the math, the measurements, and they know exactly like I need things to move to be a certain type of way. Like I'm even thinking about people who play The Sims. Like y'all are architects, okay? Y'all be building these houses and these communities and like figuring out people and their background stories. Like that kind of has the energy of the God of Swords, someone who does have this kind of godlike ability to put pieces together. And so that is what I feel like is necessary. The energy that you need in order to reclaim is not, though, just the ideation. It's not just saying the things, right? The Son of Wands is going to teach you how to do them. It is moving forward with action, with conviction. And so that's going to be important for how you reclaim the structures in your life. So it's not just about you coming up with the plan, understanding the parameters of the structures in your life, but also knowing how to implement. And so what do you need, chapter 1, to implement the changes that you know are necessary? You can have a takeover plan, but Spirit is saying you also need to have like the action. You need to also follow through, which kind of points back to this Nine of Wands about being almost there, almost at the end of that journey. You just got to push it through and charge forward like this Son of Wands is doing. Okay, so let's look at how you can reinvent the structures in your life. You have the Empress and the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, I love that for y'all. It's like heavy earth energy. And the Empress is going to help you kind of embody the reinvention. Remember, reinvention, at least in the way that I'm thinking about it, when it comes to reinventing the structures, how it is something that already exists that you are refining, just putting like some finishing touches or even revising. Like, how do I do this where it is accommodates me? And I feel like accommodations is a word that I could associate with the Empress, because usually they're very opulent and very lush. And typically they're lying back, they're relaxing, they're being very luxurious. And the two cards here, when it comes to how you can reinvent the structures of your life, it feels like an invitation for ease. So it's, that reclaiming is going to take you coming up with a master plan and then charting forward. However, the Empress and the Ace of Pentacles is here to say, but make sure that you're doing it from an embodied place. Make sure that you're doing it from in a place of ease. The Pentacles reminds me that Pentacles and Earth energy reminds me the need to slow down, the need to take it all in, bite by bite, one step at a time, right? And so even as we have the Son of Wands here, the Son of Wands is someone who charges forward. Forward action doesn't mean that the pace has to be 100 miles per hour. One step is forward action, And so the Empress necessitates that type of reinvention. What does it mean for you to be close to the finish line, and instead of charging through, you ease your way? Because you're preparing for what is to come after that. And that just feels really good to me and important, because with the Empress and the Ace of Pentacles is a gift from the divine. The Ace of Pentacles the Pentacles speaks to time, talent, and treasures. And what it feels like in this particular spread is we're talking about time. So Spirit is saying, how are you managing your time? How are you inviting ease and easefulness? Even in the forward motion, even in you creating the blueprint as you are restructuring and reclaiming and reinventing what structure looks like for you. What's the most easeful path? And we know that technically, no, we don't always get more time on the clock. But the reinventing with the Empress here, the Empress is someone who would create more time. They would make things more comfortable for themselves. And so what are the things that you can do? What are the things that you can move that would bring more comfort? That would make this takeover that you are coming upon more fun. That would make you feel more rested and not tired at the end of it. The Empress is also very aware that they are carrying gifts, creativity, beauty, art, culture. All of that is encapsulated and involved in the universe of the Empress. And so because of that, it's okay to take your time. It's okay to think of other options. It's okay to think of every option, because that is exactly what the God of Swords would do. Let me think of every option and figure out what is the best fit for my life right now, for this project right now, for the task I have before me, for the capacity that I have right now. What is the best option? How can I take advantage of the gift of time? How do I rework what I have already? And the Empress is going to say, tend to yourself, mother or parent yourself, mother or parent your projects. Whatever it is you're working on, tend to it like you would a young child or a baby. You don't expect a young child or a baby to know how to drive a car. They might do that later in life. But right now, the best thing that baby can do is turn their head, maybe sit up, maybe crawl. But there's something about not rushing. Not only not rushing yourself, but not rushing this next phase, because you're almost at the end. And it feels like once you get there, once you cross over into this moment of what this card is calling the takeover, beautiful things await. We have the Ace of Pentacles here speaking to that. And so it's almost like you get a new opportunity to do things differently, which is why we have this moment here to say, how are you reclaiming and reinventing the structures of your life? Because it's going to be necessary for what is to come for you, chapter 1. The Empress speaks about abundance and expansion, a new era. Once what the Empress is carrying comes into the world, things will be different. The impact will be felt. And so Spirit is just saying, as you are reclaiming your time, as you're reclaiming the structure, do it with the careful attention of the God of Swords. Move forward, but honor your capacity with ease. And although we can't add hours to the clock or hours to the day, we can manage the time that we have to the best of our ability by trying to make things as comfortable for ourselves as we can, by resisting capitalism and rushing and urgency, even if we're at the end of a season and we're just trying to get it over with. There's something about conserving the energy so that you can be fully prepared and ready for what's ahead. All right, my chapter ones, I want you to drop a comment that says, I'm about to take this over. I want to see it in the comments. I'm about to take this over. All right, y'all. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you next time. Hello, chapter 2. Welcome to your mystery reading. And let's see what your reading will be about today. You have crack. What do I know without knowing why or how? Okay, I don't think I need all that light. Okay. What do I know without knowing why or how? Crack. Okay. Let's see what this is about. I feel like even the question of what do I know without knowing why is a question about your intuition. And so what this feels like is those who are in this group, that you have an internal knowing, an internal compass. You have a connection with spirit in which it just feels like right now you might be doubting yourself. You might be doubting it. And so this reading is about how to kind of fortify that. So we're going to talk about, we're going to see what it is. Let's see what it is that you do know. And then if you happen to be someone who doubts their intuition, let's see maybe how you can begin to step into self-trust. I think what we'll actually do is, for you, I think we will ask the ancestral mothers and fathers about how you can begin to build that self-trust. Yeah, I hope that feels good to y'all. That's how we're gonna rock. Okay, so let's see. What does chapter 2 know? This one too? Okay, no, just those two. Okay, let's look at what you know. Okay. This is what you already know. We have the Lovers, 7 of Wands. Okay. 2 things are coming up for me. Chapter 2, you already know that for some of you, this is about relationships, and for others, it's about the self. For those who is about relationships, you know that you want to be in aligned partnerships, relationships, and community where there is peace, where there is a celebration of uniqueness, a celebration of unique voices and unique ideas. And it feels like you are still trying, for some of you, still trying to find it. It seems like for someone in this group that when you try to speak up, you are not heard currently in the scenarios that exist right now. But I'm even looking at this walnut tree and I'm thinking of, all right, a couple of things. I'm thinking of you wanting to be in like relationships that are strong, like this tree, that are lasting. But it feels hard right now because you've been trying to fight for it, or rather, you've been trying to fight for yourself and your own autonomy, and it feels like you are receiving backlash. What else is coming up? We have this walnut tree and this crack that I'm staring at right now. So crack, what it makes me think of is someone's voice cracking. Like you've been wanting to like speak up about some things that you see within communities that just don't jive with you. And I get that some of you want to speak up, but you are afraid to because of the potential opposition. What might they say if you speak up about these matters? And so when I see crack, I think of someone's voice cracking, like they're wanting to speak, but it's just like they feel like they shouldn't, or they're afraid, and so their voice kind of cracks a little bit. Something else that I'm seeing in this group is the walnut tree. I think of black walnut, and for hoodoos, we know that when we are cutting and clearing, when we are moving away from relationships, when we are cleansing to prepare to move into a new season, we use black walnut to cleanse and to purify, to remove, so that we can step into the next relationship, the next day, the next season without what has negatively impacted us. That's what I'm getting from the relationship portion. What I'm getting from relationships is you know that things are not as peaceful as you desire for them to be. And some of you are determining whether or not it's the time to speak on it, or if you should just like let it flow. When it comes to the self, what I'm getting is for many of you, you are moving into a new era of autonomy, of strength, of power. You using your voice, even if it cracks. You speaking up for what matters to you. You speaking up about your values and how you want to show up in the world, and you choosing yourself, for some of you, for the very first time. And so for you, you don't mind, or I will say like this, it's not that you don't mind the opposition, but the opposition or the forces that come against you no longer scare you because you carry yourself now. You're not abandoning yourself anymore for anybody. You're not sacrificing yourself anymore for anybody. So those are the two messages that are coming forth for this particular pile. Ooh, okay. So I said that I was going to ask. Yeah, I think I'm going to ask the ancestral mothers. Yeah. We're going to ask the ancestral mothers for advice for this group. I'm going to ask, since I said I was going to ask about self-trust, and we might do that if we have time. But now that I've seen the cards, I think I want to ask for both of these groups, for the people where this is dealing with an actual relationship and trying to find the strength to make a clean cut, to move forward, to move away from a relationship or a community, then we will get advice for that. And then for those where it's like you have no problem choosing yourself and you're forging a new path for maybe the first time, I'm going to pull a card for that as well. So let's start with messages for those where this is about relationships. This one. This is for relationships. And then calling on the ancestral mothers of all of those who are watching chapter 2. What advice for that one? Okay. Advice for those who are moving into a new era where they are fighting for their peace and they don't care who opposes them anymore. Let's start with the relationship. The advice for those dealing with feeling like you don't belong and figuring out how to traverse this relationship. The wise one. Ooh, Spirit is saying, listen to your inner child. Spirit is saying, if things don't feel right in your relationships, consider how you are being treated, and ask yourself, would you allow for a child to be treated the way that you or maybe someone else in your community is being treated? What does your inner child have to say about the particular relationship that you're in right now? Would they feel safe? Would they feel cared for? So the wise one is here to say that your inner child is wise. Your inner child is still inside of you. And it may be a good time for you to consult them. And also, if your voice does shake a little bit when you have to say or have tough conversations with people about what matters to you, about how your particular values and requirements to be in relationship with you, think about the safety that you deserved as a young person, whether you received it or whether you're someone who never did. This is your chance now to speak up for that little you and to trust. Remember, the question started with, what do I know without knowing why or how? This feels like, for those where it's about relationships, this is how you know. Your inner child, there's something your inner child is jumping up and down the inside of you, trying to get you to see, trying to get you to hear. And so you've heard, and this is just confirmation for you. So now you know how, because your inner child is loud. Trust what you hear, chapter 2. Okay. So now for those who are, for you, it's about like your own journey. You have moved ahead. You are not concerned about, you're no longer concerned about what other people think. What is your wisdom from the ancestral mothers? You have the divine couple. This is your encouragement. Spirit is saying that as you go, even though you're by yourself right now and it feels like, okay, as I've made my choice to walk away from certain communities, certain patterns of thinking, certain connections, so that I can stand by myself, even if I know that there's going to be opposition. Spirit is saying you won't be alone for long. The divine couple is not just like romantic. In this sense, I don't think it's romantic at all. What I think is, instead, this divine couple is a relationship that is aligned, because everybody, and it doesn't just have to even be two people. This could be a group of folks. But everyone who is coming together, they have unique giftings that complement one another. And so if you bring the fire, I'll bring the water. And so we create like this divine balance. And so right now, it may be, even though I don't get from the folks where this is about yourself and self-healing and you charting your own path, getting away from people, you might not even be interested in hooking up with anybody right now, because you're discovering and exploring your own independence. And there's no rush, right? But what it feels like from the divine mothers is them saying that even though you may be doing this on your own right now, and you may need to right now, because for some of you, like I said, this is the first time that you're moving away from certain things, moving away from a certain job, moving away from a certain, there's like community, right? You're moving into something else, but they're saying it's still not good for you to be alone. You still need covering. You still need protection. You still need a sounding board. You need people who you can call on. And so this card of the divine couple, for me, is saying that even though you're charting this new path, we're still going to send you people. And until you get to a place where you're ready to receive these people, know that your ancestors and your spirits are walking with you. Know that even though there may be intense opposition, you're not by yourself, chapter 2. So it's interesting because I felt like this particular group was split in two, but I think that it makes sense that you all were in the same group together, because the divine couple kind of gives the same energy of the lovers. Not this about being, like romantic love, but about what happens when we are in healthy community with one another. There's intimacy here. There's vulnerability here. There's trust here. That is how, for this group, you will know whether or not it's time for you to part ways with a group or person or deepen that relationship with them. And for you on this side, that is how you'll know that these are the people that you need in your life. And that these are the people that you can trust to walk alongside you on this next leg of your journey. If this is resonating with you, whether you are on one side of the table or the other, I want you to drop me a comment and say, I want crack. That's funny to me. But no, for real. Drop me a comment. And if this is resonating with you, say, I want crack. So we know, no matter what, you want crack. Because on this side of the table, you are connecting with the wise one inside of you. And on this side of the table, you won't crack because even though you are moving forward with new boldness, with a louder voice, you won't do it by yourself. You will not crack under pressure. All right, chapter 2. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope that you got what you needed. And we'll see you next time. All right, chapter 3, welcome to your mystery reading. Let's turn over your card to see what your reading will be about today. We have, what am I integrating? You have build. What are you building? What are you integrating right now? Okay. I like that. Let's see. What are you integrating? All right, Spirit. Okay, so for you, chapter 3 is, I think how I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually, I'm going to pull like maybe a card or two about what it is you're building right now, what you're building. And then from there, let's get some wisdom from the ancestral mothers and fathers about what it is you can integrate, what lessons you can integrate from each of them when it comes to what you're building. All right, let's see. All right, Spirit, can you show me what my chapter 3s are building right now? What are my chapter 3s? Everyone who's in chapter 3, what are they building? This one? Okay. Let's go with those two cards. Look at that. Bottom of the deck is 8 of Pentacles. Y'all are definitely working. So, okay, my chapter 3s, y'all are working, and not just working, but y'all are also reworking. The 8 of Pentacles is a beautiful card about revision, a beautiful card about building. Now, interesting, because I said that each one of these readings was going to be different, but based off of this card alone, I'm wondering if you might find it beneficial to watch chapter 1. You might want to watch it. It might help you with where you are. We'll see what these cards say, but just looking at this 8 of Pentacles is making me think about reworking things and revising things. And that's what I definitely see for you all right now. You all are reworking, revising, doing something over and over again. Something truly has your focus, and whatever it is and it could be study, it could be your job, it can be a side project, it can even be a relationship, but you are working and reworking. Something has your attention, something has your, like you are so passionate about what it is that you're working on because you are wanting to see it grow. You're wanting to see it like it has a lot of value. And I think you know that, which is why you're investing the time, because time is money, as they say, right? So let's put this at the right here so we can see it. Because already I see like, yeah, y'all definitely like, y'all building. I love that for y'all. So let's see what insight we can get about what is being built. Okay. Ooh, okay. 2 of Wands and the 9 of Cups. So let me tell you about what it is that y'all are building. You are actually, whatever it is you're working on, this is like bigger than you. I know we don't have like the 10 of Pentacles here, but what I heard is legacy. This person is sitting on this oyster and sitting on top of the world. So they are quite literally driving their destiny. They like the world, like as the cliche goes, the world is literally their oyster. That means that whatever you're building right now, there are no limits. So if you have put any type of limits on what you're building, chapter 3, stop that right now. Because what you're working on right now is going to change lives, is what I heard. Lives. And it's going to start with you. The Two of Wands is a card of speaking about what's interesting. It's speaking about like the beginning stages, the planning of what it is that you're working on. So like I said, with the Eight of Pentacles, like this is something that you're working on, and also like revising. And when we revise something, when we rework something, we are going back a little bit to the drawing board so that we can fine tune and figure out exactly what needs to happen now to push this project, this relationship, this task forward. And so that is what you're doing. You are like, it's, yeah. There's just open galaxy here. There are no limits. So whatever it is you're working on, think big, dream big. Do not try to don't take what you're doing lightly. Like, even if it's something like what you're focused on right now is parenting, being a better parent to your children. If what you're focused on is like building a stronger relationship with your partner or partners, like don't make small of that. Whether it's something like your healing journey and reconnecting with your ancestors, don't make small of that. Like I said, whatever it is you're working on, chapter 3, it is important. It matters. Even if it's something like, I'm just trying to get my money right. I'm just trying to get my budget. Like, it might not be that you're building a business, even though for some of you it may be. It may not be that. For some of y'all, you may just be trying to reconnect with your lineage. The work that you're doing is important. I see worlds and universes. So that means that whatever you're doing is impacting other folks, even if it's in its infancy right now. And so right now, like, I just need y'all to know that the Nine of Cups speaks about immense happiness and joy. It speaks about, oh my gosh, an overflow of satisfaction, emotional flow. Like, it's a very emotional card. Like, it's like what I just saw was like someone like it's, and so like, see how this person is like coming out of these curtains, and I just heard like, they love me, they really love me, like almost like someone like receiving an award. Like, it's giving like I'm thinking like the Grammys or like the BET Awards, or like, you know, like a big ceremony where you are being honored for your work. And so we see the money, right? We see that there's value in what you're doing, but this is saying that what you're doing also brings immense pleasure. It makes not only you feel good, but it makes other people feel good. That there is abundance not only in your pocket, but also your love tank is full. Also, your creativity is full. Also, what I just saw is like, usually in the Nine of Cups, is like a banquet set up, and there's one person in the center, and there's a table with 9 places set, and so like 9 places, you know, and the person in the center is like the center of attention. They're the guest of honor. And I just saw like ancestors coming to sit at those tables, ancestors taking up each one of these goblets and cheering to you for your work, for your dedication. So I want you to stop. If you have been someone who's, oh yeah, I'm working on this little thing, or I'm only doing this, or I'm only a dad, I'm only a mom, I'm only a housewife, I'm only a business owner, I'm only a truck driver, I'm only a male person. No, take that only out of the front of that. Because whatever you're doing matters. I'm only doing shadow work. Baby, shadow work, shadow work is work. Whatever you're doing, there's a lot of work involved. Do not belittle your work. Do not belittle yourself as you do the work. Because everybody doesn't have the wherewithal to do what you're doing. Everybody doesn't have the capacity that you do to do what you're doing. So honor that. Be proud of yourself. Because I'm telling you, the glory is coming. You You are on the precipice of something very great. Keep going. So that is what you're building. So I want to know, I want some, let's see, I want to know. So the question is, what are you integrating? So I want to know what you're integrating from your ancestral fathers and what you're integrating from your ancestral mothers as it pertains to what you're working on. Let me see what deck I want to use. This one? Yeah, let's use this deck. All right. Let's see. Do we want to do 2 each? Yeah, I'm going to do 2 cards for the fathers, 2 for the mothers. All right, Spirit, can you tell me what my chapter 3s are integrating from the ancestral fathers? This one? Okay. And can you show me what they're integrating from their ancestral mothers? This one and the one on the bottom. All right. I think I'm going to move. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get this situated. Yeah. Fathers, mothers, and we'll do this. Yeah. That makes me feel better. All right. Let's see what you're integrating from the fathers. If I can turn it over. Yeah. Okay. So we're seeing some repeating cards. I definitely think it would be beneficial for you, my chapter 3s, to check out chapter 1 because I'm seeing some similar things here. All right. So the ancestral fathers coming through as the Empress. We love to see it. Coming through as the Empress and the 3 of Pentacles. So what do they want you to integrate from them? So they're talking about creativity. Again, we're also talking about, like, you have a lot of, this is earth energy, right? So this to me is talking about co-creation with others. The Empress is creative. The Empress is someone who is full of like fertile energy and they're grounded, right? So they're also someone who like is very practical. So how are they making themselves more comfortable? How are they like, they may even be someone who, for you, like your ancestral fathers might even be talking about like practical ways to, I'm even getting like some of them probably worked with their hands. There's something about like getting in the dirt. And I kind of think of that when I think of the Empress. That was just, I don't know where that came from, but that's just what I got real quick. But there's something about co-creating, using that creative energy, and then building with others. When I think of building, I think of the 3 of Pentacles a lot because it is bringing this. Thank you, Spirit. So I had to interrupt my own thought because I just saw something. So typically in the traditional, very heteronormative Rider-Waite Smith, the Empress is pregnant. And in this one, they're not pregnant. What's beautiful is that means that the Empress has taken time. If we're using that as a framework, just for the point of this reading, the Empress here is showing someone who's, instead of resting, they're standing. To me, that feels like they have birthed what they needed to birth. They have brought forth what they need to bring forth, and now they're standing in their power and ready for the next step. The next step, though, so that means that a lot of what they were doing, they had to do on their own. And so it feels like for what you're integrating, it feels like Spirit is wanting you to, one, getting out in nature, grounding yourself, and understanding what it is that you're trying to build. Letting yourself create without outside influences. Like, don't ask for outside opinions right now while you're in the process of carrying and getting ready to birth. But once you get to that stage, remember I told you this is a card about revision. So once you have gotten to a certain point where you're like, okay, now I'm ready to invite people in. Do you see how this baby, usually the 3 of Pentacles has 3 people, but there's a baby in this one. The Empress has brought their baby to others they trust and say, now, what can we do with this gift? How can we bring our money together to fund it? How can you bring in your expertise to help build from what I've started? How can we support one another? So your ancestral fathers are saying, you have a beautiful, unique gifting. Trust yourself, trust your power, and trust that you can carry this vision and birth it into the world. And know that it's good as it is. That baby is beautiful. Even if the baby still has more growing to do, right? And then, as you are ready, once you have done your portion, then invite others in. Then ask for the opinions. Then have people help you. Then have people bring in their expertise. Then you will see that you will see there's growth in your projects. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let's see what the mothers have to say. What are you integrating with what are the mothers helping you to integrate? Okay. The mothers, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Lovers. The mothers, again, this is interesting that these are both talking about like relationship and collaboration. For the mothers, they're saying, manage what you can manage. Don't do too much. Don't do too little. Make sure that make sure that you are comfortably creating. Don't make everything too hard. Don't make everything too hard. What's interesting is the Two of Pentacles comes before the Three of Pentacles. And so while the fathers are saying like, yes, you need to birth this thing on your own and then bring others in, the mothers are saying, wait. Before you get to the collaboration though, you need to be sure about what you can manage. You need to make sure that you are balancing it all well. Can you comfortably create? What's actually within your control? What also feels like is before you invite others in, because they're also talking about bringing others in, right? We have the Lovers here. Before you bring others in, determine what's yours and what isn't. Because when you get into the Three of Pentacles and you start inviting other folks in, they're going to bring in their beautiful ideas. Collaboration is a beautiful thing. And also, this is your baby. So determine your own values, your own vision before you bring everybody in. Which is kind of echoing what the fathers were saying too. This is your baby. You birth this on your own. And when you're ready, and it feels like the mothers are saying, this is how you know you're ready. Start here. What can you balance? What can you manage? What do you feel is necessary? How do you make sure that your steps are solid? And then you choose who you bring into this. So it definitely feels like whatever you're working on, you're not meant to do it by yourself. Chapter 3. Both the mothers and the fathers are talking about collaboration. Both groups are speaking about the need for you to bring others in. But it also feels like they're saying you need to know what you're building first. You are the one who's been putting in the work with the Eight of Pentacles. You are the one with the vision. So know that. You have so much creativity that you've been carrying, that you've been dreaming about. Bring your art and your creativity into the world and then know what's yours. Know what you can handle financially. Because it's getting real. You got Pentacles. So that means that whatever you're birthing, it's going to see the light of day soon. We're going to be able to all marvel at what you have done. And so then they say, yes, it's safe for you to bring people in. It's safe for you to bring people in. But the mothers are saying, be choosy about who they are, though. And the fathers are saying, make sure that they bring something to the table that's going to actually push your vision forward. At the end of the day, you are going to be the one, again, standing on your own, receiving the praise you have done. You've started a good work, and I trust that you will complete it. So if this reading resonated with you, I definitely would love if you would drop me a comment down below and say, I'm building. For real, I would love it. Drop me a comment and say, I'm building. because you are. And I cannot wait to see it. I love that the beaver is here talking about building, because we know that beavers build their own safety, their own homes, their own communities. They pack everything down, everything's sturdy. And, we talking about sturdiness. And I told you there was like longevity. I saw longevity. So what you're building is like for legacy. It's for people. It's going to affect other people. It's going to help other people. Other folks are involved, and we see other people are involved already, but your impact is going to be felt, chapter 3. And you have all the earth energy here on the table for you. That's powerful. But that just shows me that what you're building, the world needs to see and experience in this lifetime. And I, for one, cannot wait to see it. All right, my loves, I hope you enjoyed this reading. We'll see you next time.